Hi, guys, and welcome back to the All Sports Focus podcast. We're back here with week 2 post of the NFL and post week 3 of the college football season. We've got Ryan, Pap, and Sean here today. Say what's up, fellas. We got Ryan in the brand new, whatever you call it. What is this? The Rival series?
The Rivalry series.
The Rivalry series. So Ryan's got that new jersey on. We're excited to get into this, but real quick, we're going to hop into the intro.
I had a dream, I had a vision, I had to work for this and you didn't. I had to bleed, still got the stitches. I learned to swim from all your blood bridges. Say you're the poet and the prophet, but you never saw me coming. Always starving for attention, and I got the kind you wanted, and it's killing you now. You wanna spin it around, but the truth's still the truth. Nothing you can do. I feel it in my bones.
All right, so today we're going to be tackling about 3 or 4 different topics from each the NFL and the college football season. Then we got a little segment in between here. We're going to be starting a new one called Sean versus Pap's Picks. You remember Pap's Picks from last year, but we're tying Sean into this. We're making a little matchup. We're going to make it interesting. We got to have a little competition. And these are the two that always end up arguing either on the podcast or in the group chat about something random. So we're going to make a little competition. All right, so starting it off, our first little topic in the NFL here is we're going to be talking about the most surprising starts and the most disappointing starts from different teams this season. So I think we got to start off with the most surprising start of them all is the Indianapolis Colts. They start off the year 2-0. Daniel Jones with an absolute, looks like a career resurgence here. Yes, you could argue they could be 1-1 because of the leverage call, whatever. We're not gonna go there. They're 2-0 in the record book. All right. Why do you guys think this team is 2-0? I mean, obviously it's Daniel Jones playing great football, but what else? Why are they 2-0?
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I agree. I think their offense looks good. I think they're running better plays than last year from what I've seen. I think they're utilizing Daniel Jones to what he can be rather than just kind of throwing him out there into a fire. Like they use him to his strengths. And I think that one thing that's actually showed a lot for me is that when they get in that 5-yard range in the goal line, they utilize his side. I mean, they push him forward. They'll get him. I mean, he's had probably, I think, already had 3 rushing touchdowns, maybe 2, but still. I mean, they're utilizing him well for what he is, and that's why they're finding success.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities with Sam Darnold in Minnesota last year and kind of some of these resurgent guys that they're not making him do everything. He doesn't have to be the it guy for the offense. They have Jonathan Taylor. They're using him to open up kind of some of those passing lanes and then just letting Daniel Jones do his thing.
Sean, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they've fallen into, at least in this week 2, I think they fell into the win. Bo Nix had a rough interception where threw it, defensive player caught it right at the ground. Daniel Jones did his way to work back down to the goal line. And, I don't agree with the leverage call. Basically, the same exact play happened on the opposite end and no call happened. I assume it didn't happen because, he made the field goal. If the Colts kicker had made the field goal the first time, they probably wouldn't have called it. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's a calling from Vegas. But, we don't get into conspiracies here, right? Right.
We're not going there. Not going there.
Yeah. Daniel Jones definitely has shown a lot. Jonathan Taylor, he's been a workhouse back since basically his rookie year. And then just having Michael Pittman be healthy, Josh Downs be healthy, Tyler Warren breaking onto the scene. I mean, it's all the stuff you were basically expecting from Anthony Richardson that he couldn't give you. They're just getting it from Daniel Jones now.
I mean, this is a division where it's every year it's kind of wide open because it seems like the team that wins it is either 9-8, 10-7, right in that kind of range of just barely above 500 and they win the division. That and the NFC South, it seems like. It's always the 2 Souths. And I mean, this year, Jacksonville, I think, could have snuck away with a win in Cincinnati, even with Joe Burrow going down, but we'll get into that. I mean, Houston's 0-2, Tennessee's 0-2. I mean, as of right now, it looks like I might be going to a Colts playoff game come frickin' February. So let's hope not, because I don't know if my bank account can withstand that right now, but not praying on their downfall, okay? But I'm happy for Daniel Jones. I think he's played some great football so far. And honestly, I think it's just finally all coming together. In the last couple of drafts, they've really focused on offensive weapons. I mean, I think they took Alec Pierce 2 years ago out of Cincinnati. I mean, they took Josh Downs. They took Tyler Warren this year. And obviously, they've had Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman. I'm glad they're finally able to put it together because it seems like this is a team that's always had the defense, and they're finally putting it together now. I want to put out there, though, the best celebrations from the cornerback. That the cornerback that had the one celly in week 1, and he's had the celebration with Blue, the mascot.
I know.
Dude, he is going nuts on the celebrations. I hope he gets an interception every week because I love the celebrations. All right. The second most surprising team, I think this is a little more of I wouldn't say much of a surprising team, but just kind of a great start to the year, and I think it's the Green Bay Packers. They have really just jumped out of the gate, and I think it's even more kind of solidifying their start based on the beatdown that the Lions gave the Bears. And, the big question mark coming out of that game, the first week 1 with the Packers and Lions was, is the Lions offense is good, Ben Johnson, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And they dropped 52 points or whatever it was on the Bears. So obviously that shows it was a lot more what the Packers were doing and not what the Lions were doing. So the Packers start out 2-0. I mean, they beat the Detroit Lions and the Washington Commanders, who were 2 teams in the NFC playoffs last year. Pap, I know this is your division rival, but why do you think the Packers are off to such a hot start this year?
I think it's probably 2 big things. I think it's Jordan Love just kind of springing into just a better quarterback than what he was last year. I think last year when he sprinkled in pressure against him, he showed just as if he was still kind of a rookie in a way because he was happy feet and he kind of just throw balls around. But now I think he's has a better pocket presence and he kind of delivers just almost more control over the offense. Then my second thing was I think the O-line for them is great. I think he gets barely any pressure. I mean, he just kind of sits back there and he just delivers great balls. And I just think if the O-line can play how they are, I don't see how they lose unless they play the Eagles.
Sean, what's your thought? Why do you think the Packers are off to such a great start this year?
I think it's a culmination of obviously both their offense and defense, more so their defense. It seems that they're locking up opposing offenses. Obviously, like you said, they showed that in week 1 versus the Lions. And then obviously the Lions, after having a horrible week 1 and playing against the coach that just left you for a division rival, you got to have some greater thing to play for, some animosity towards the coach, whatever. And that's going to make you go and score a bunch. But Packers defense held them way, way lower than 52 points, right? So then coming into week 2, just shellacking. You get it, no question. Offensive end, Tucker Kraft looks amazing. Easily their wide receiver 1, even though he's a tight end. Matthew Golden still hasn't sprung onto the board yet, but he's still the first wide receiver they've taken in the first round in 25 plus years. And you have Josh Jacobs out there who, I can't remember where he is on it, but I want to say since 2000, he's number 2 in rushing in a row, scoring a rushing touchdown in a games in a row that he's done that. So it's basically just a guaranteed touchdown coming from him, at least 1 a game. And so when you can guarantee that, you just, it's 7 points on the board already. But yeah, their defense looks amazing, and it helps that their offense is contributing a lot better than they have in the past.
Ryan, what's your thought?
I mean, I think it all starts with the Packers defense, and it's most specifically their pass rush. You have kept both teams that you've played with arguably great quarterbacks, Jane Daniels and Jared Goff, had them completely under pressure the entire night, had them off their rhythm the entire night, had the offenses off rhythm the entire night. And I think that just sets the tone. With Micah Parsons and Van Ness and everybody that they've got up there, they've just been all over these opposing offenses. And then It's created short fields. It's created turnovers. It's created a lot of 3-and-outs that have allowed Jordan Love and the Packers offense, kind of like Sean was saying, they've been able to work from ahead, and they haven't really had to like do any major comebacks or anything like that to kind of keep pace. They've just been able to do their thing and move the ball, and so it's very complimentary football. It reminds me a lot of the success the Eagles have had in the past couple of years too, is that the defense kind of leads to offense, and you don't necessarily need Jordan Love in the same way you don't need Jalen Hurts you don't need him to throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns to win the game. You just don't turn the ball over, be smart with the play, and keep the ball moving, and that's all we need.
Completely agree on everything you guys said. All right, so moving over to the flip side of things here, more of the disappointing starts, I would say. I don't know if this is really a disappointing because we weren't really expecting them to be good, but I think a terrible start would be a better word for it, is the Miami Dolphins. 0-2 start, and I feel like it's just coming to like, when is Mike McDaniel going to get fired? When is their GM? I don't know exactly what his name is. When is he going to get fired? When do they just start fire sailing? Like, when do they just start, you could see Tyreek Hill get thrown off the board. You could see I don't think Jalen Waddle or Devon A-Chain, since they're on the younger side. But, I mean, it's just things like that when they kind of just, kind of throw the towel in. And maybe when do they pull the plug on the Tua experiment? What are your guys' thoughts here on why the Dolphins have been off to this awful start? Brian, what's your thought?
I mean, yeah, number one, the McDaniel thing, he's only 4 games above 500. Like, his winning percentage is like .528. So it's not like he's been dominant. I think they were always just kind of a flash in the pan. Like, everybody every year has been so hyped about them, so hyped about this offense and everything, but they've not performed at all. Tyreek Hill doesn't scare me anymore. He is not a deep threat at all anymore. Really, this entire offense is a nothing. They don't get nothing done. They don't move the ball. They just solely rely on like one big play every so often, and that's kind of how they've relied on it for the past few years. And they just got away with it until they played more dominant teams like Kansas City, like Buffalo, who exposed them. And I think now we're just seeing it early on, and they're going to run into another tough game with a Thursday night football against a very hot Buffalo Bills team.
It's because they traded Johnny Smith.
Sean,
at the end of the
what's your
day,
thought?
that was he was pretty freaking good for them last year, I will say. That didn't make them good, but yeah, Tyreek's just getting up there in age. He's not the same guy he was his first year when he was in Miami. He's not obviously the Chiefs Tyreek like he was. Waddle's lost a few steps since his first few years, obviously being the wide receiver too, and all the injuries that he's had. Their defense sucks. It's bad. And I mean, it's kind of hard to go into a season knowing that you're playing for second best in your division. Like, they have to know, like, we're not going to beat the Bills. Like, we're not going to be better than them. We're not going to, it's just, can we get second place this year? Like, I don't know. They haven't looked good. They haven't looked good in a few years. Yeah, exactly. And then Tua,
the battle for the silver medal.
I think we've all said it, that he's a concussion away from being out of the league. I mean, his career is hanging on a string where, yeah, I mean, and I know we'll talk about them in a little bit, but that's the same comparison I just made with Burrow. Like, it's the O-line. You just keep getting injured. Players being injury prone, plus just getting hit all the time. Like, Tua's on the edge of it. Like, Burrow could be on the edge of it. And, it just, at the end of the day, the Dolphins just suck. Yes, Pap, let's go.
Throwing jabs. All right, Pap, what's your thought?
Dolphins suck.
That's it? All right. Keeping it sweet and short. All right, I'm going to tie this last 2 kind of disappointing starts into one here. We're not going to talk about the Chiefs because Pap gets mad at me for that, so we're not going to say anything about them. Do you want to?
What the hell? This is
fine.
like the highlight of my time on this podcast is that we can finally say
something real quick. We'll say something real quick because
what is disappointing about them?
Yeah,
what is this like? They lost to the Eagles and the Chargers.
The only disappointing
Eagles and the Chargers.
The only disappointing thing about them was Travis Kelce's drop that sold them the game, because otherwise doesn't set up the Eagles touchdown, and they'd probably score there on Travis Kelce, in my opinion.
If we want to talk about actually disappointing teams, let's talk about the Chicago Bears with this.
That's who I was going to say. The Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans are the teams I'm going to talk about here, because starting off with the Houston Texans, this is a team where they have won 2 straight division titles in the AFC South. And I would say even last year, CJ Stroud did not look very good, in my opinion. And so far, he has not looked very good. And that was a game last night against the Bucs that they should have won. They 100% should have won that game based on how that second half went. Little side note, I love the way Baker Mayfield plays football. God, he is just a freaking dog. He is just a dog. But that's besides the point. And then the Chicago Bears. This is a team where it's like, oh, Caleb Williams got his coach. Ben Johnson's going over there, the offensive mastermind, blah, 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 blah. And I mean, the Lions just were playing freaking, I don't even know. They were just kicking them up and down the field. They were just kicking their ass for the entire game. Like, it wasn't even close. So what's like, real quickly, we're just going to real quickly swing around the circle here so we can get on to the second topic. What's the one thing that the Chicago Bears need to do, or what they've been doing that's been so bad?
I don't think that's it.
The one thing they need to do is get a new quarterback.
I don't think Caleb, while he hasn't been what he was hyped up to be, he's been solid. I think like last year, it was definitely like the O-line was horrible. This year, the O-line hasn't been great. They made good additions, but I mean, we saw on, my best friend is a Bears fan, so I get the whole rundown. I'd have to go to the text to tell you what the players are. But there was a possession where the O-line got like 5 penalties for false starts or holdings, or it basically just ruined the entire drive. I think that is what, I mean, obviously you don't let a team score 52 for no reason. There's other miscues, bro, like 100%. But they have the workings of a young team that is on the come up, but they just play in such a good division where it's like the Vikings are a good team when they're completely healthy. The Lions are a good team to a great team. The Packers, obviously good to great team, could be an amazing team. Like, you're playing in a division where it's like, holy crap, this is a bloodbath every single night where we have to play these teams. And those are the teams they play the most. Then you have on the defensive end, I mean, Jalen Johnson, he's their best defensive player. He was out the first game, played a little bit the second game, and now he's out for the season. So you're going to be missing that on defense for the rest of the year. So basically, you're just going to have to try to outscore opponents while your offensive line is getting all the holding calls, all these calls. You just have to try to rein it in. And you're under a first-year head coach. You're under a guy that's going to try to bring in a ton of changes. Like, it sucks, but when you bring in a guy that is a first-year head coach, he wants to basically change everything. Like, you want it to be yours. Yeah, there's probably some things that worked, but when you had all this working so well with the Lions last year, you obviously want to try to recreate that, try to bring your own twist to the offense, whatever. And it's going to take a lot of working together with Caleb, with the offense, his defensive coaches, everything, to make that team great. But I do think that they are on the come up. They're just stuck in a horrible situation being in that division that they're in.
I completely agree. All right. So moving on here to our second topic in the NFL here is obviously the big elephant in the room these last couple of days, and it's been the injuries to all these different quarterbacks. I mean, you got Joe Burrow, you got J.J. McCarthy, and you got Jaden Daniels. Obviously, Joe Burrow is the main all topic right now because There's been a ton of comparisons to Andrew Luck. The amount of times he's been sacked. This is going to be his third season where he's basically going to miss the whole year because of injury. And you got J.J. McCarthy, who played through it, but he's out with an ankle sprain now for 2 to 4 weeks. High ankle sprains. Trust me, those things are no joke. And then Jaden Daniels. I mean, I think, what was it? MCL sprain, something like that, I want to say. So, I mean, he's, I would say, doubtful for the game on Sunday. I mean, there's not really much to kind of really say about this. It's kind of just like kind of addressing it. But, I mean, when is it, do you think the Bengals really, like, focus? Like, I honestly think they're going to have to trade. I think they're going to have to trade T. Higgins away at some point and trade him away and build up and get the offensive lineman to protect Joe Burrow. Do you guys agree with me? I think that's what it's got to be at some point, or trade somebody away to where you can protect your player, your star player.
I always kind of think about like a couple of years ago when the Bengals passed up on Penei Sewell to get Jamar Chase, which obviously Jamar Chase is elite. But I saw a freaking graphic where it was like, I'd rather be thrown to a nobody with protection than like throwing in Jamar Chase with no protection because it's harder to get it to him. But yeah, they're gonna have to ship away a couple players to get someone to protect your best player, Joe Burrow. I mean, without him, they're nothing. Jake Browning won't cut it. Maybe Jameis Winston will. I hope he does. I love the guy. But yeah, I just think that they just need to. I mean, at this point, obviously, Joe Burrow's gonna be done for the season. So going in the next year, they need to protect Joe Burrow somehow if they want to have any chance at success.
Ryan?
Yeah, it's deja vu over and over again, because you look at basically the last 4 off seasons have been, what's the one thing the Bengals need to do in the off season in order to be good next year is get offensive linemen to protect Joe Burrow. And it's like every year we see him signing free agents, we see him drafting guys high in the draft, we see them doing all this different stuff that's supposedly going to be able to protect Joe Burrow moving forward. And it never works. He's been consistently the most sacked, or in the top 3 most sacked quarterbacks and most hit quarterbacks in the basically his entire career in the NFL. And I don't see a quick resolution to them fixing this problem, because at this point teams know, okay, the Bengals really need offensive linemen. So I don't think Joe Burrow comes back this year, because I think by the time that he's ready to go and the mid to late December timeframe, they're going to be out of it anyways. But I think moving forward, you see some of these teams be like, okay, we're going to need more than just what we would normally ask for in a trade. We're going to up the price a little bit more because we know how badly you need offensive linemen, and it's holding them back significantly. I think now you've devoted so much money to Hendrickson, Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins that it's going to be difficult to sign any high name lineman in any way.
Yeah. And I just want to address, injuries are the worst. I mean, I don't care if you're on my favorite team or you're not on my favorite team. I mean, I want to watch the best players out there every weekend. Joe Burrow is a fun player to watch play football. I mean, J.J. McCarthy is a fun player to watch play football. Jaden Daniels is a fun player to watch play football. So I hope these guys get healthy, and I hope they're able to play because it's fun to watch them. You know, the fan in me enjoys watching these players. So that's all we're really going to talk about the injury-wise. Hopefully Sean can get back in here. He lagged out. He's restarting it now, trying to get back in here. But our third and final topic here on the NFL side of things is going to be the big games of week 3 to watch. I think got to talk about first game, and the almighty of this week is Monday Night Football. And it's the Detroit Lions at the Baltimore Ravens. Pat mentioned it before we started recording here. This is going to be a hell of a game. I mean, did they play last year? I don't believe they played last year, did they? No. I think the year before, but whatever. These are two teams that have looked good both weeks. I mean, the Ravens were one fumble away from beating the Bills in week 1, whatever. But I mean, they kind of gave it to the Browns last week. The Lions gave it to the Bears week 1. I mean, last week as well. So, what do you guys think, Pap? What's your one thought going into this week that the Lions need to do to get the win?
All I'm going to say is, I mean, obviously one team's got to lose, and they're both 1-1. whoever loses, I don't think anyone should panic. Just because you're 1-2, I mean, it's going to be a
Completely
good
agree.
game. There's everything. And I, as a Lions fan, I obviously hope they win, but I'm kind of like not very like. I won't be surprised if we lose, and I'm just kind of like, let's just see what we can do, kind of thing. I mean, we got beat up by the Ravens, but then we beat up by the Packers, and then we beat up the Bears. So I'm just trying to see where we kind of stand up against these teams that we're in that Super Bowl talk with. So yeah.
Ryan, what's your thought on whatever your winner is? What do they need to do to win the game?
Yeah, I go back and forth. I think I would slightly give the nod towards the Ravens here in this situation, but I would not say that it's impossible for the Lions to win this game at all. I think you kind of have the game plan of stay close to the Ravens throughout the game, and we've seen that they've struggled closing out games for sure. And I think your other big thing is you need to have some of your players like Aiden Hutchinson kind of lead the way in getting a pass rush on Lamar and kind of bottling up Derrick Henry, because you look at the stats of the second half of that Bills-Ravens game and how much the running game dropped off completely, with Ed Oliver making some adjustments on the Buffalo defensive line, and then ended up forcing the fumble that changed the course of that game for good. So I think there's opportunity there to get the Lions defensive line to kind of take advantage and change the course of this game and then give Jared Goff a chance. So I think it's going to be close, but it really is going to come down to who can play better between the Baltimore offensive line and the Detroit defensive line. I think that's going to make the decision one way or the other.
Yeah, completely agree. I just want to real quickly, before we move on, I meant to say this at the beginning, and I want to say before I forget, Brandon Aubrey is the best kicker in the NFL, and it's not even close. That's the first time I've ever been like gut punched by a kicker twice in one game. It's not fun. Now I know how Bears fans feel when Cody Parkey's name gets mentioned. All right, the next game here is going to be the Los Angeles Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles. A rematch of the divisional round game from last year. We got Sean back as well. He figured out phone's not bugging anymore. He's back in here. But rematch the divisional round game. I think this is going to be a game of the year, in my opinion. I think these two teams are very good. I think both these teams are very good. And I'm going to ride with my guy, Sean McVay. I think the Rams are going to get it done. And I think the way they're going to get it done is just their ability to, honestly, is control the game. If Matthew Stafford is able to not turn the ball over and kind of just possess the ball the whole game, I think they can keep the ball on their side of things, get it to Puka Nacua, get it to Vontae Adams, and win this game. So, Sean, we're going right back to you. What's your one thought and your winner of the Rams and the Eagles game?
Puka's that guy, and Rams are going to take it.
All right, Pap, what's your one thought on this game?
Eagles kick their ass.
Wow. Okay. Ryan?
This comes down to how well Jalen Hurts plays. I think he kind of got bailed a little bit by just the way that the Eagles team in a whole played against the Chiefs, but Matt Stafford's dealing this year and Puka is legit. And so if Jalen Hurts can't keep that offense up with them, then they're going to struggle.
Yeah. All right. The last game we're going to talk about here, Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz, best game of the week. No, I'm just kidding. That is actually going to be so bad to watch. Holy crap. All right. The third and final game here is a little AFC West matchup here between the Broncos and the Chargers. Chargers have looked very, very good through 2 weeks, beating two division opponents. Kind of crazy in the NFL to put all three division opponents in the first 3 weeks for the Chargers. But they're looking to start 3-0, and the Broncos are looking to bounce back after that kind of late loss there to the Colts in Indianapolis. I'm riding with the Chargers. I just think the way Justin Herbert is playing ball right now and the way that defense has just been able to kind of shut down both teams they've played so far, I think that's going to get the job done. I think the Chargers are going to take a commanding lead in the AFC West and move to 3-0. Sean, we're going right back to you. Same order. Who's your winner and what's your thought?
Yeah, I want to give it to the Broncos, but there's been some injuries on the defensive side of things for them. Obviously, I think they're going to be coming out with a much better force, especially after that late game blunder to the Colts. But I am going to give this to the Chargers. They've just looked great, both sides of the ball. I'm actually really impressed with a lot of the defenses this year. Not something that I've said much over the past few years, and I think the Chargers they know what they got. That Keenan still a dog, shoulders still crazy looking, but he's still a dog. Lad, he's going to get you those receptions. He's going to get you the yards. They kind of need to figure out their running back room a little better. Hampton hasn't looked as advertised. Najee, he's looking like he can only look one way, one eye Najee. But yeah, I do think the Chargers take this one. But I think it'll be a little closer than we might be expecting.
Okay. Pap?
Give me the Broncos. I don't know. Chargers didn't look great yesterday. I mean, they're playing the Raiders. Geno Smith basically gave them the win. I mean, he had 3 interceptions, throwing arm punts out there. I mean, it was like, I don't know. They didn't really impress me that much. I mean, they scored, 20 points?
Yep, 20.
And that Omari and Hampton fumble, which was Justin Herbert on a bad handoff. I also did see that. They looked sloppy. Like the Broncos just beat them.
All right. Ryan?
I think the Chargers win, but I agree it's a close one. I think that Justin Herbert has played well enough to get the job done, and I like Jim Harbaugh coach defenses. Bo Nix is kind of struggling to figure it out early on, and I'm not sure that in a division game like this, it's going to click right away. I've been throwing a lot of bad interceptions and kind of looked off.
Sophomore slump.
So I do think Bo eventually figures it out, but I don't think it'll be in this week's game. But I think it'll be a low-scoring one, but Chargers take it.
All right. And just one little quick housekeeping thing here before we go to the quick break is our little game pick score update here. After 2 weeks, the newcomer, Sean, is leading it with 26 correct games picked. Then we got Ryan in second place with 25 games correct picked. Then we got Troy in third with 24. Then we got me and Pap tied for fourth with 23. And then Garrett Collins bringing up the rear with 21 games correct picked. So that's a little score update. I am 2-0 in fantasy, though. I want to put that out there. I believe Sean is as well, and Troy.
Oh, sure.
Pap's sucking. He's going to get the punishment, which is...
What's the punishment?
We got to determine. I think we got to make a jersey bet the punishment, okay? That's a question right now for you listeners. Put in the comments what jersey bet should the punishment be. That's what we're doing. I just determined that on the fly. Punishment. What's the punishment? Let's hear it.
If I take last, then I just go to the jersey bet game with you.
You already want to. You already said you wanted to go to the game.
Yeah, man, that's the point.
DeMar Hamlin jersey.
No, we're leaving. What
did you say?
Wow. No.
DeMar.
No. We're cutting
just
it off.
Spend a
right
day
there.
with DeMar.
Stop. Okay. We're going to the break. We'll be back after the break for Pap and Sean's picks.
All right, question. I have a question for the break.
Let's hear it, Pap.
What year did World War II start?
All right. There's a question you guys will. You'll get the answer after the break. We're back from the break. What's the answer to your question?
The answer is 1939. Ryan and Sean lied to me saying it was 1944.
Okay.
I don't know what they were on about, but
he's throwing them under the bus.
Yeah.
And proceed to say 41.
Leave it in, Ryan. Leave it in.
I'm not gonna clip our break now just to show that
he's gonna leave some evidence.
Yeah,
I think it's 1944.
Evidence.
Bro, put that on a short.
Bunch of liars, dude. Gotta people that lie.
All right, here we go. We're entering our kind of new segment here. Pap versus Sean's picks. Pap, You're the veteran of this. You get to go first. Your 2 picks. We're going to be keeping score, all right? This is going to be a nice competition throughout the rest of the season. Give me your 2 picks for this upcoming week.
All right, 2 player props for Thursday Night Football. Just get them off and early. Just 2 quick picks. I mean, you can parlay them. You even can say 3 if you want. But I like Khalil Shakur for 4 receptions and Devin A-Chain for 50 rushing yards. And then you even can throw in there Khalil Shakur for like 30 yards if you want. Just like sweeten the pot a little bit on your parlay. But yeah.
Shouting out the Bills players.
That's mine. Thanks.
All right. Sean, what's
I'm
yours?
sure you're not a Bills fan, buddy. I couldn't find their actual numbers, but I actually have 3 and a game pick.
Let's hear
If
it.
we're doing a parlay altogether, might as well,
Let's hear it.
Put a Jacobs touchdown in there. Josh Jacobs, touchdown. Like I said earlier, he's gotten one in like 22 straight games or something crazy like that. Puka, over on receiving yards. Don't care who they're playing. If he's healthy, he's going over. Jonathan Taylor, over on rushing yards. He's been dominating. All he needs is 1 breakaway, and he's going over. And then lock of the century, take the Bills over the Dolphins. It's free every year.
That's
free every year.
That's a $100 bet.
From
That's $100 bet
100.
to win $101 right there. The Bills to beat the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Would not be shocked.
Hey, it's
the
for a
Bills win.
parlay. It's a free one.
It's a good parlay. Hey, I love your take about Josh Jacobs. I mean, that is a great look on it. So again, we will say this. This is not forcing you guys to go, we're not doing that. This is just
go gamble. Go gamble. If you have a gambling addiction, make it worse. Go on any site and just spend all your money. Also, I was going to add to just like the picks and everything. Don't gamble, but if you're going to gamble, make sure it's a parlay.
Make sure to use my code on.
Make sure you use my code.
Actually, the actual important thing. If you want picks, add me on Snapchat. I have a private story, and I'll give you guys free picks. I'll charge maybe $5.
Wow, we're charging now. All right.
Don't add them to the wrong Snapchat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's gonna do it for this first edition of Paps vs. Sean's picks. All right, we're moving on to college football here, and the first little segment we're gonna have here, Pap. The first segment we're gonna hear is what's the odds of Tyler Buckner catching the next snap for the Notre Dame extra point? No, I'm just kidding. All right, we're doing contenders versus pretenders here of the top 15 teams in the country. We're just we're gonna run down the list. And we're literally just going to go around. We're going to say contender or pretender. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just voice your opinion, and that's that. All right? Starting off, number 1 and number 2, Ohio State and Penn State. Can we both just say contenders, or is someone going to object to that?
Contenders.
Nobody? All right.
Contender.
Sweet. Number 3. I could the next 3 teams as well. LSU, Miami, Georgia. Contenders. Any objections?
I agree.
Sean? You had a pretty thinking face over there. He's fine with it. Okay.
I don't get to watch. I haven't gotten to watch not much college football because I've been at work the last 3 Saturdays. So I've been very out of it. And really, my senior man at work, he's a Miami fan. So if any game goes on, it's Miami. And so I'm sitting there. I'm just like, when he said Miami, I'm like, I want to say they're pretender just to get under his skin a little more. You know what? Miami's a pretender.
Wow,
they're a pretender.
You need to send that clip right to your coworker there. Just say they're a pretender.
I will.
Just make sure. All right.
Everybody say they're a pretender.
You also need to send the clip where Sean's setting fires the Purposing Us podcast to female Rangers.
Hey, you can tell he's been here 2 weeks in a row now. He's off duty. All right.
Stop doing it, dude.
We're on it. We're on his tail. All right. Number 6, Oregon here. We'll quickly go around here. I got him as a contender. Ryan?
I'd say contender. I mean, especially in a Big Ten that it's not hard to get towards the top of that and make it in.
Pap?
Contender, but maybe a pretender. I don't know if Dante Moore is insane. I mean, I remember back in the day at Detroit MLK, we almost played him if he went to the state championship, but he didn't. So, yeah.
What is our definition of a contender or a pretender?
I think contender
is it like if they make the playoffs, or
I think
is it
contender
like
is like a team that you could see win the national championship no matter what. Like if the season ended right now, they would compete with, I would say Ohio State's the team to beat right now. They would compete with Ohio State to win the national championship. And then pretender is a team like, I would honestly say we're going to get to them, but like Texas, who hasn't really shown anything good, but they're still ranked number 8, and we haven't seen anything good out of them. So it's not really a definition, but it's examples of teams.
the odds of a team being a contender rather than a pretender are really low. So if I just say every team beyond here is a pretender, I'm going to win at least 90% of them. So, you know what? Pretender.
He's thinking of this from a betting side of things, it sure seems like, and I love it.
No, we don't bet, bro. We don't bet.
Okay.
Don't bet.
He doesn't bet. My bad.
Your life.
Okay. Number 7 here, the ranked, the Florida State Seminoles. Hudson is going to hate me for this, but I'm going to have to say, as of right now, they're a pretender. They've only beaten Alabama. Yes, I had Alabama winning my SEC this year, but I want to see more out of them. I want to see the game against Miami when they play Miami here in a couple weeks. I think that'll be a real big tell. But right now, I can't confidently say I think Florida State can win a national championship. Ryan? Contender, pretender?
Pretender for sure. Yeah, they don't strike me as a national championship favorite by any means.
Okay. Pat?
Major pretender. Major.
Sean?
Pretender.
He's riding with pretender the whole way out. All right. And number 8, like I mentioned here in Texas, I think this is a very obvious pretender right now. I haven't seen anything. I mean, they were basically up until 1 second left in the half. They were with 7-3 with UTEP. That answers my question. Pretender. Ryan?
Yeah, pretender. I mean, they could get to a point down the road where they are a contender again, and if we see kind of the Arch Manning that all of us were expecting to see, but as of right now, pretender for sure.
Pat?
Yeah, pretender. I'm not just keeping it short.
No. Sean?
Horns down, pretenders.
All right, and the last 2 here, Illinois and Texas A&M. Illinois, I'm going to say pretender, and then Texas A&M, I'm going to say pretender as well. I know they just beat Notre Dame in South Bend, but again, with both these teams, I need to see a little more before I can confidently say they're a contender, because I just think it's so clearly, in my opinion, those top 4 teams of Ohio State, Penn State, LSU, and Miami right now, and I want to see some teams step up to that level. So I'm going to say I'm both pretenders. Ryan?
Illinois, especially a pretender. A&M at least has beaten somebody good, but I'd still lean towards pretender for A&M as well.
Okay. Pat?
Illinois is a big pretender. I think obviously Notre Dame to 24, but if Notre Dame played Illinois, I think it'd be like Notre Dame playing Indiana last year. It reminds me of Indiana last year. Then Texas A&M, probably a pretender. I mean, their defense looked bad, and you can't win a national championship with a bad defense.
All right. Sean?
They're both pretenders, but number 11, Oklahoma, contender. I know we're not there, but
yeah,
Oklahoma, contender. John Mateer, that guy.
Heisman favorite right now, I would confidently say. I mean, he's a stud. He's a damn good player. All right, we're going to cut it off at 10 here for time purposes here to move on to the next spot, but I completely agree with Sean saying that Oklahoma is a contender right now, in my opinion. So here is our second topic here, and it's kind of a very, I would say, a kind of openly talked about topic right now, and it's the Florida Gators head coach position. It seems like Billy Napier's time is just like, it's just waiting. He's just waiting to be fired, I feel like, at this point. Oh, we're going to play a little hypothetical game here. Say he does get fired, which I think will happen either during this season or after this season. Who do you want to see take over and be the next head coach of the Florida Gators? Kind of putting you guys on the spot here. I'm going to make you guys think about it a little bit. Anybody have an answer they want to shout out? Anybody? I'll go. Wow. That is it. Wow. That's some pretty dark times in my history to be bringing back Florida history.
No, Tim Tebow.
Wow.
Fun. I think what
I'm going to bring out a very hot take here. Give me John Gruden. Don't know why. That was the first name that popped in my head, was a guy that wants to get back into coaching. I mean, he'll bring some surefire to Florida. He'll bring some attention. I would say maybe like a little Deion attention to Florida. No, I'm trying to think out of the box here to keep it interesting. And then I think my 1B, though, would be as if they can pay Lane Kiffin enough money to get him away from Ole Miss. Would be my other option. Sean?
Yeah, that guy. I don't know much about college football, as you can tell. My stuff doesn't really ramp up in the college football sphere until closer to draft time for the NFL.
That's fair.
Let's go with who. I just want it to be the next Deion. You know, like the next. Like, who is the guy that's going to make it all about himself?
All about himself.
I got it.
Let's hear it.
I got it right here. Hear me out. James Franklin at Penn State loses again. They get him out of there. You can't win for us. Can't win the big game. Get out of there. He goes to Florida and goes compete in the SEC.
Pulls a little Brian Kelly action, leaving Notre Dame. Okay. I don't know. Sean, that's a good question. I'm trying to think of who that would be.
No, just go ahead and get the spotlight.
I don't know, like, of a Florida player who would, like, I feel like Tim Tebow would be so funny to be the Florida head coach. But, like,
yeah, he'd be good.
He hasn't coached anywhere, and even if he does, I don't think he would make it, like, about himself.
Yeah.
No, for sure would not
agree with that.
Yeah. I'm going to say, though, a little player coaching. I think Michael Vick gets the Virginia Tech job. He's at, was he at Norfolk State right now? And they just fired their coach. And he's a Virginia Tech legend. I think that's going to happen because I think it's going to be kind of like a Deion, like Sean just said, like a little Deion situation. All right. So before we hop into our last little short topic here, Ryan has something he wants to mention. Let's hear it, Ryan.
Let's review some of the top quarterbacks that we had all projected and that were the Heisman favorites coming into college football season this year. And this just feels like a year that it is extraordinarily bad at how many of these quarterbacks, like, let's look at the top favorites. It was Arch Manning, Cade Klubnik, Nussmeier's done okay. Lenoris Sellers has been terrible. Sam Levitt's been terrible. DJ Lagway's been terrible. Just Avery Williams has not been very good for Kansas State. Like, you look at basically the top 10 quarterbacks projected coming in this year. Drew Aller's done decent. I mean, Penn State hasn't really played anybody, but he's really been the only one, and Carson Beck's done okay in Miami, but they've really been the only ones of like the top 10 quarterbacks coming into this college football season that have performed anywhere near their expectations. And that just feels so odd compared to normal years that it's normally pretty spot on.
Yeah. I mean, did we all pick Cade Klubnik to win the Heisman? I'm pretty sure we did. Maybe not all of us, maybe one person didn't, but I mean, Sean just mentioned it when talking about Oklahoma. I mean, John Mateer has been the best quarterback in college football this season. I mean, he has been a stud. I mean, led him to beat Michigan. And I want to give a quick shout out to Haynes King and Georgia Tech. I mean, they seem like they've played spoiler now, like back-to-back years. I mean, they beat Miami last year. They went to 5 overtimes with Georgia in the last game of the season last year. I think they're a team that could sneak in to the college football playoff in Georgia Tech with an ACC. Maybe they get up there, they win a couple games, they get to the championship, whatever. Things may happen. But Ryan, I completely love that because you're very right. When was the last time anything like that has happened? Because, I mean, you look at two of the biggest names going into this year were Arch Manning and Cade Klubnik. And Arch Manning has not looked good at all. And Cade Klubnik and the Clemson Tigers could very well be 0-3 right now. Because they were down 16-0 to Troy at one point in that game. And kind of came back. And then obviously they lost to LSU and now they lost to Georgia Tech. So, but with that being said, Brian, you kind of stole my thunder here on our last topic. Who has been your, I obviously know where Sean's going to go with this, but who is, so far been your, that is by far, been right now the most, I would say, electrifying, most fun player to watch so far in college football this season? Sean, I already know your answer, so let's hear it.
John Mateer, baby. Boomer Sooner, go Oklahoma, horns down, F Texas.
Love it.
I got you. You don't have to bleep me out.
Pap, who's been your most electrifying player?
Most electrifying player.
It doesn't have to be electrifying. Maybe
I'd say
the best, maybe. Literally either or. Best, electrifying, whatever you want to say.
I think the best player this year is just fun to watch and just does it is the running back for Miami. I watch him a little bit. He's explosive. Or number 10 for Miami. He's Tony, a short little freshman.
Mm-hmm.
He's elusive. I just watching Miami. I mean, they're fun.
Isn't that Kadarius Toney's brother?
I think it is. So, I mean, he's probably up to no good. Yeah. I like Miami's squad. I kind of like that convict vibe they bring and how they play well. So,
all right. Interesting point to touch at there. All right, Ryan, who's been your player so far?
I think mine's Jeremiah Smith. I mean, best player on the best team. You really can't argue with it too much and what he's done so far. And I think he's only going to continue getting better throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah. I already mentioned mine. I wouldn't say I'm kind of breaking my own question here. Maybe not the most best or electrifying. Haynes King. I mean, a quarterback who literally runs his thought process is, I don't give a damn how hard I get hit. I'm going to get this freaking first down. I mean, they run a true good old motion triple option offense, and I love to watch it. They play hard, and like I said, right now, I think Georgia Tech is my sleeper to sneak in to the college football playoff this year. They play some tough ball, but my other shout out is Caleb Downs.
Green Wave.
The Green Wave. But Caleb Downs, safety for Ohio State, the best player on their defense. He's been the best defensive player so far. I mean, dude is a freaking headhunter. He'll be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft coming this year. All right. Any other final touches here on this episode? Anybody?
Like I said, Tulane, the group of 5, they're going to make the playoffs.
We heard you the first time, bro. We know Tulane's going to make it. And also, I think we just broke our world record for longest podcast. Our own record. I don't think we passed an hour before, and we're creeping up on it.
Yeah, we
which is
have.
new. So I don't think we've ever got past an hour.
We've definitely gone past an hour before.
Oh, sorry. No, in the Pap era. Sorry, I forgot that. In the Pap era. Which is when
Pap's got his own era now, I guess.
No, when Pat McAfee joins College Game Day type thing. It's like that type of thing. Like I was saying, if you're at the end here, if you DM me on Instagram 8834 and you say the word Notre Dame, I'll give you $10 on Venmo. Just got to make it to the end of the podcast. And yeah.
Wow. You heard it here first. I mean, Ryan, please put that as a clip. Please put it on a YouTube Shorts.
If it gets spoiled by anyone, if it gets banned.
So that's going to do it for this week's episode. Little housekeeping items. Go check out the YouTube. That's where we'll be mainly posting our podcast now from going on. Check out the YouTube with YouTube Shorts and the YouTube Long, the whole entire podcast. Watch them both. And obviously still check out the merch site. Check out the Instagram. Check out the Spotify. Hopefully we're going to get the TikTok page going. That's what I'm going to mention. If you know anybody, a little kind of like digital, kind of swift with the TikTok side of things, because I suck at it. If you know anybody, we're looking for somebody. We're willing. If you know anybody, reach out to us. Let us know. But that's going to do it. Check out all those sites. We appreciate you guys as always. Any final touches from the other hosts here?
I'm changing it to $5. I'm a college student.
Okay. He's already going down in amounts. Okay. That's going to do it for this week's episode. We appreciate you guys as always, and we'll see you guys next week.